Episode, it's the Transformers episode.
Yes!
You will be meeting Optimus Prime and Ninjatron there. My favorite line from that is, "Who's more than meets the eye now, motherfucker?"
My favorite was, actually I have two favorites as well. One of them, it comes in a later episode, I don't remember which episode, but I know there was a bunch of football players in it. And it was this like 7-line long line, and it was something about like, you know, don't take off my pants because you won't be able to see something. And I had to do it all in one breath, and at the end, I came this close to blacking out. Like, everything went gray. But I got it out. And then my other favorite was this demon lady pops up in front of me. I can't remember the episode, but whatever was written wasn't matching flaps or something, and so we improvised and we changed it to Hell of the Bottom Carter! To give it away, it was awesome. Yeah.
There's I actually had to think of one line. I heard one line in these episodes that I laughed so hard at. And I remembered in the booth, like, "Wash out your assholes and get yourself over that school. Watch your assholes out in the sink." And then in a later episode, it's like, "What the fuck is up with all this motherfuckery?" And there is an entire scene where, in a later episode, where Garterbelt is literally like playing with his nipples in the bathtub, and he pretends one is panty and one is stocking, and it is.
That was fun. I enjoyed that one.
Check. Like it's cool. It was cool to do like the long extended ones because occasionally y'all just beat the shit out of Chuck. So like it's like it just says random chucking on the script. And they'll show like this minute-long scene, and I'm like, I watch it and I go, okay, and then just
or check the picture.
Yeah, chuck the picture, which was awesome. I liked how you would give it adjectives and stuff. Chucking, yeah, it was great.
First off, I just wanted to thank you guys for dubbing this awesome show. It's coming out this year, awesome.
It was the least we could do.
My question is for each of you, what were your initial impressions when you first laid eyes on this show, be it for an audition or when you actually started doing the show, or what were your first impressions?
We all saw it ahead of time, yeah? We knew it was coming, didn't we? No pun intended. Did we? Yeah. I remember seeing it. I remember seeing it and thinking, that looks awesome, I want to be a part of that. And then I remember my good friend Shar coming up to me and saying, "We're getting this show, you need to write it." And so that I was more online with writing it before I thought about being in it. And then once I started, saw it and started writing it, I was like, God damn it, I need to be in this fucking show. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually hadn't seen any of it until I got in the booth to record for the first time, and everyone had been talking it up about this, you know, how raunchy and irreverent and disgusting it was. And the first, hour or so I was in the booth, I was like, this isn't so bad, until we got to that scene where he's watching the panty video online, and Colleen directed me. She was like, and now when it comes up with end at the very end, I want you to make the sound you make when you come. All right, here we go. And so yeah, from then on out, it was.
That's a lot of information.
Oh yeah, every time. Yeah, every time.
Also what I sound like, so that mine's all faking.
Yeah, I told you guys earlier, I had seen clips of it online. It was just, I had to be a part of it. I don't beg for a lot of things, but I really hit Colleen up pretty hard for this one. What's funny is that
you were not alone.
She told me, she's like, all right, so I'm pretty sure you've got this role, but you can't really say anything to anybody. Fortunately, no one else has a deep voice in Funimation, so I was really, the competition was pretty slim. But I saw Ian Sinclair.
I'm glad you telling this.
He came to the studio and, were you about to tell this?
You started.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so Ian walks in the studio, he's like, "Hey dude, yeah, I got this part on Colleen's show. His name is like Garterbelt. He's this huge black dude." I'm like, "Oh,
And then he goes straight to his computer, he's like, "Oh, good for you."
yeah, that was true.
I'm like, I'm fucking what you do.
Now you have nothing to say.
I didn't think that there was anything that I could audition for, and I went in for that, and I'm like, "You're gonna get that sad, aren't you?" She's like, "Just read for it." And then I had watched it, and the dog reminded me of Gurr, so I got real excited. And yeah, so
I had to make some waffles.
I can make some waffles.
That's true.
I will say that this is the first show I've ever written that the lead cast was exactly who I heard it in my head when I was writing it. Everybody was brown.
Nick, quiz. I'm gonna learn that.
First off, I totally just won $25 because I bet my coworker you were gonna be Panty.
Yeah, that's a good bet. That's a real good bet.
Yeah. So, what was your favorite like swear? Because it sounded like there was kind of like weird made-up swears that you guys came up with. Is there any like particular swear you just like really like saying?
Well, funny story. When I was first writing it, I got this email. Did I tell you? I might have told you guys about this. It was from the Japanese licensor that said to be as offensive as possible within the boundaries of United States law. So as long as I didn't get arrested, they really wanted me to go for it. And on top of that, they wanted it to be so Western that they wanted us to introduce a lot of Western slang and terminology so that we could then teach it to them. Which immediately made me make up terminology to teach back to them. So, like, motherfuckery came from that. I mean, not that it's never been said before, but I tried to find some random stuff. And, I mean, Panty pretty much sticks to fuck on several levels. But Stocking for sure had more, she's smarter, so she's gonna have a little more clever swearing, which was kind of heartbreaking because I knew I was never gonna be Stocking, and she had the best lines by far. She has the best lines. And so, yeah, I tried to make them as ridiculous as possible, just so, because I imagined someone having to explain it to someone in Japan and be like, so smegma.
I like shit pickle. I hadn't heard that
one. There are new words every time we go in there. But what I found out that, Colleen found out, and by the way, I'm sure Colleen wishes she could be here too.
Yes, she does.
And it was, I hate to diverge for a moment, but it is so brilliant that Colleen Klinkenbeard, of all people, directed this show.
Yeah.
This is a girl that 4 years ago, if you even made a fart sound in front of her, she kind of got grossed out. And then 4 years later, I'm like, God, Colleen, I can't believe you're here. She's like, yeah, make it dirtier, make it nasty. Can you make an actual sound? Sorry. But I found another thing I discovered is that we ran out of synonyms for whore. Every episode is like, you dumbass bitches, you dumbass hoes, you dumbass. Like, there aren't enough synonyms for that word.
Also, for Garterbelt, he stuck to a standard because he's a preacher, so he didn't cuss the same way. He cusses differently, and that's why hooker was a big thing for him. But also, I am a True Blood fan, and I just really like the idea of him saying hooker. True Blood, because I heard it, hooker, and that's exactly how it came out.
Check.
When in doubt, check it out.
I like t-shirt.
Alright, like 2 questions is specific. Okay, first one is anyone can answer this. How did this come to America? Because this is some things that, how did you get away with that? No, you did not get away with that. And the second question is for Chris specifically. You took a black guy and it wasn't offensive, it was just so much swagger, and I just wanted to know, where did you get that voice?
You have been waiting for him to be asked.
Now, wait a second. Truth is, I got a low voice, and I live in Dallas, Texas. And sometimes in Dallas, Texas, they want to make commercials for African Americans. And there's a problem because all the best African American voice actors in Dallas leave. So there was a time where I would go into recording sessions and I would do Mustang Money from the Texas Lottery. And then the white people would leave and the black people would come in, and I would have to do the African American campaign for the Texas Lottery too, and it was the same script. It was like, play Mustang Money from Texas Lottery, and I chalk it up to bone density. You see, African Americans have denser bones. This is true. This is factual information than white people. And because of this bone density, they tend to have very rich, low, sometimes high, but very rich, resonant voices. Thank you. And I felt like I was qualified to be able to play this role without offending anyone because I am part black. Let me show you. It's not what you think. There's my blackness right there.
What just happened? Everyone's offended, but they don't quite know why.
Well, that's the right panel for it then.
You, how did we get it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, got to make a stretch, right? Right. Well, as to why it came to America, it's super awesome, and Funimation wants all the awesome shows. So
Yeah!
we were all watching Japanese screeners because the licensors send us shows, and sometimes we ask for shows to watch. And we all saw it, and we were just, what? And I was just like, I love this. This is I want this. I want to have it. And also, if we get it, I would like to brand manage it. So then it became like a little bit of a, like a fight, and it was all happy, and yeah. So it came over. So yeah.
Hi. In the upcoming episode where Panty and Stocking are standing trial for like the murder of that Stimpy character from Ren and Stimpy, and are they going to sound similar to Ren and Stimpy?
I do not remember.
Good question.
I cannot remember. I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
I don't remember that part.
No.
I wasn't in it, so I didn't pay attention to it.
Yeah, if Colleen was here, she could probably better answer that. She directed it.
Okay, but what about the voice? Do you know who does the voice of Optimus Prime and all the...
Oh shit, who does the voice? I love that I can do that. Oh shit, who does the voice of Optimus Prime?
Was it John Grammy on it?
Ninjatron, no,
No, that was Chris Ayers.
No, Chris Ayers is Who's Ninja? Do we remember who Ninjatron is, or?
Do you know what the one person who actually knows the answer to this is preoccupied right over there.
Yeah, or it's Colleen who knows. I've been told, but I keep forgetting. I'm sorry.
Just call her and just like put it down.
Maybe we could text her. Your phone's up. Someone text her, and we'll get back to you on that. We'll text her and see if she replies, and we'll answer.
All three of us should text her.
Who did the voices of the ghosts in the episodes we just saw? Like the voices of the poop monster and the car monster and the queen bee.
The queen bee is Leah Clark, who is also one of the other writers. And that's right, 2 chicks writing up on this shit. And the car ghost is Brandon Potter. And I forgot who the shit monster is.
Back on the topic of the awkward sex sounds.
Okay.
How awful was it to do? Like, was it embarrassing, or did you just kind of go with it?
The sex sounds? Well, now, why would you be embarrassed about something that's natural? Oh, I'm just making an example. Things that you might want to sound like if you need to practice making sounds. It was fine. I mean, obviously I'm not easily offended, so sex is the last thing I'm going to be upset by.
I really enjoyed the brief sex scene in the later episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Because you had already recorded before I got in there, and I was like, you're going to need to mute her when I Brief, it wasn't a big deal. It's just goofy, so.
That one though, I think we all saw that because Colleen was like, "You have to hear Joel's coming sound." So we all heard that. It was pretty funny.
Sex sounds and
Rock and roll.
Dragon Ball Z sounds are pretty much the same thing. Yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Yeah. Hurts so good.
Oh, and I just remembered another one of my favorite lines too.
What is it?
It's a line where Garter has to get something out of a brief's butt, and he pulls up a glove, and then I forgot how many fingers he had up first. He goes, "Here comes the cavalry." Pulls up.
Yeah, I remember my line at the end of that scene was, "This is not how I envisioned losing my virginity."
Yeah.
Keep it classy.
Chuck?
Okay.
Yeah. How do you feel about your orgasm sounds?
Oh, quite well. High art, truly. A lot of mices.
Just kind of like a two-part question. First one is for Joel, because Brief is my favorite character. I actually cosplayed him last year. I should have done it this year, but did we get to hear him do like that awesome stuttering sound at the end of the episode where the Demon Sisters are introduced?
I don't remember. I know we did. There were several times that we would attempt like the stuttering kind of stuff, but Colleen wasn't sure if it was whether she wanted to go that way or a different way. So I know we did it. I don't know if it made it in or not. So
also the other one was I'm probably like the biggest Nisox fan ever. So I don't know. Can we hear a voice clip of that? Or
You're just gonna have to buy it.
we're going to anyway. I mean.
Fight to the death.
You know what? We can
Come at me, bro.
all love these socks. It's okay. It's all right. No. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
First of all, I would just like to say, you right there, to be honest, you are a more convincing black guy than the white dude who plays Cleveland on Family Guy. And my question would probably have to be, probably a whole lot of people are asking, do you think Panty and Stocking is a little too raunchy and too controversial to be played on Adult Swim? Because we need more anime on Adult Swim.
I think it would just be one long beat.
I know, that's the thing. It's all of the fucks. There's a lot of fucking.
You might actually get to hear me more. Beat and then chuck everyone's hearing.
Yeah. I mean, we all would love for that. I feel so loud right now. We would all love for that to happen, but I think it's too. I mean, I would love, not that we don't think it should be, we just think that people aren't ready for it yet.
I think if it did ever run on TV, it'd be pretty amazing because every Republican on earth would spontaneously explode.
We see like the claymation of them explode.
Yes!
They'd scream Sarah Palin and then explode.
Dude, I love the live action explosions at the end of each one. There's one later on in the episode where it explodes, where actually Garterbelt explodes, but then he implodes again. Like this comes back. And we actually recorded it so that he goes, "Oh fuck," or something like that. And then we played it backwards, and then I repeated it backwards so that, and then they turned it around again. Oh god! It was awesome.
Yes.
So I love all your voices. They're all beautiful, by the way, for the show. But did you guys audition for other characters that you wanted in this show, or did you all get the character that you wanted?
I knew I wanted Brief the second I saw it, and so that's the one I focused on. I think I read for other characters, but they weren't as polished as my Brief yet.
They're so specific too. The characters are all like. There's no way I could have ever been stalking. Monica and I might have read together. That might not be something that ever happens. And we sometimes would go drinking, and sometimes the next day find out that we may have sent Colleen texts of pictures of us saying, "Look, it's Panty and Stocking." So when I auditioned, it was Zach Bolton's idea that we should just read together. And we were like, yeah, sure, like, why not? And Colleen was like, okay, just do it now. So we went in and we did one round where I read, of course, Panty, and she read Stocking. And I was like, do you want us to switch? And she goes, no. And then she had us read for Knee Socks and Skinny too, but that was it. It was very weird.
I read for Garterbelt, but the second it came out of my mouth, I was like, nah.
Thank God.
Telling me. So yeah, I was thrilled to be a cartoon. I ran around my house for like a week going, I'm a cartoon dog.
The only other person I was afraid of that was going to get Garterbelt was a guy named Chris Rager who played Hercule on I love that dude. And he came in and goes, yeah, I read for this Garterbelt role and apparently you went up for it, so I'm obviously not going to get it. I was like, oh, thanks, dude. And secretly I was like, God, I hope I still get it.
Yeah, it was really funny because whenever we'd be on or whatever, we'd be like, okay, we're not going to talk about it anymore after this, but I really want to be like,
Yeah.
And then you're like, stop talking about it. Yeah, but we still did.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for making my voice sore in the morning with how hard I laughed. And two, I have a somewhat difficult and I'm sure controversial question for those who are fans of the show. What is your opinion on the final episode?
That's a spoiler, man. Spoiler.
Spoiler. Yeah, I'm always supportive of more of it. I'll just say that. I'm supportive of more seasons. Aren't we all? Which means we're all going to buy it, aren't we?
Yes! And I just want to thank you for bringing this show to America, because after showing this to my best friend, he quoted his reaction as nerding all over the floor. So,
write that down.
that's his quote. He needs credit for it. Anyway, just because of how controversial this anime is there anyone in your immediate or distant family that completely disagree with this show and say you should not have done this?
I would be disowned immediately if my parents ever make the mistake of doing this.
My mother would not like this show, but I have over the years dragged her to go see a lot of stuff that she should not have seen. I think I took her with me to see Pulp Fiction.
Bad idea.
I took her with me after I had seen the Ali G movie. I thought it'd be fine to take her to the Bruno movie. And she left and I was like, that was very interesting, Christopher. I did not like that at all. And the part where his penis was talking was not funny to me. I'm like, all right, sorry. I may have hid this DVD from my daughter for a long time.
Yeah,
until she's at least 15.
Actually, for a while, I've been talking about that kind of thing. When I've described this show to people, I talk about when I was a kid and I had like early South Park DVDs and like I'd hide them from my parents and like these filthy shows that you tell all your friends about. Like, dude, have you seen this? That curse. This to me is that, and I'm so honored.
I would text my parents jokes if I thought they were particularly raunchy, so they're fine with it. It's true.
All right, back at the signing. Christopher Sabat for Panty and Stocking with Garterbelt.
Good to see you. Sorry this having to move so fast, but we do what we do.
Hey, I blame the fire alarm.
You can't? That makes me sad.
Thank you.
Tomorrow's session. Really? It's just going to do this again?
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Sabat, you might not remember me, but 2 years ago at Anime Crossroads, I drew you a picture of all your characters running away from Miami in a wedding dress.
I do remember that.
Actually, when you were there, you told us.
All right, who's your character again?
I'm Brief.
Brief. Okay.
Heck yeah.
Go Brief.
I mean, fuck yeah. What the hell?
Brief should meet the Ghostbusters.
Brief should be the Ghostbusters.
Oh, dude.
I've seen so many people here that I thought were cosplaying as Brief, but no.
I've actually seen a couple of Briefs, but I think it's only been like 2 or 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm on the lookout. I'm always on the lookout for anybody who's played anything or cosplaying as anything.
You're going to have to ambush Brief cosplayers. And your character, sir?
I will.
Jack, all right.
Check, got it.
Check. And it's Panty. All right. Thank you so much. Oh, and my friend Nick is coming up. He's the one who coined that whole nerded all over the floor. So you'll see him. He's coming up. Thank you.